It's time for another episode of Transfer Thursday. Woody Wommack with Mike Farrell. Mike, the transfer portal sort of grinded to a halt. Not a ton going on, but there was one big news item this week. Dontae Lucas, former Rivals 100 offensive lineman, guy who dominated a ton of our events. He doesn't hit the portal officially. He says he's leaving. We have to assume he's going to be in there as soon as that paperwork's submitted. What went wrong for him at Florida State?
There's a lot of talk about attitude, not buying into the system. I don't know. Their offensive line isn't very good, and he's the highest ranked kid in that. I think it was the 2019 class, and he's a very physical football player. So they could use him. So I'm assuming it has to be, more non-field stuff, whether he and Norvell didn't see eye to eye or he didn't buy into the system or whatever, but extremely talented kid from South Florida. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Miami immediately jumped on him. But the portal's slow now because now you jump in, you got to wait. You can't play immediately. The season started. And, I think a kid like this can wait a couple of weeks to get in the portal and then really take his time with his options, but he'll be recruited by everybody. He's a talent. I mean, you remember in camps, he just was so aggressive and dirty actually. And I liked it. I loved every bit of it. And I remember a few of our coworkers were like, "Oh my gosh, he's so dirty." Yeah. He would be on the whistle and he would step on a kid's head. It didn't matter. I love him.
He would, the famous picture where he earned the nickname, the Pope, because it looks like he's baptizing a kid because he got his hand around their neck, slamming them into the ground. So
that was his big move, remember?
Right. Yeah.
That was his first move. It was like back up and then choke. It was awesome.
So he played 500 snaps in 2019, 500 snaps in 2020, and he played 78 so far this year. He struggled as a run blocker, which is surprising, and he's done this year especially really well as a pass blocker. He's one of their best pass blockers. So I think, like you said, I mean, he's from down in South Florida. Miami should try to get him there as soon as possible. I'm assuming they will. And maybe the attitude problems that have been rumored, maybe those are fixed with the fresh start, because you heard from a lot of people at Florida State that one of the problems they had last year was the guys that were there didn't buy in to Norvell.
Yeah.
And that's why they kind of wanted to clean house.
I think you'll see Auburn too get involved here. I mean, they're thin along the offensive line. Things have gone well offensively for them so far against two pretty bad opponents, but I think you'll see this weekend that they need some depth at offensive line. And then he's a guy that I think also, anybody who recruits that South Florida area, which is everybody, if it's not going to be the Canes, it's probably going to be an SEC school. So keep an eye on Auburn there as well.
Okay. Another guy who hit the portal, or actually hit the portal this week, former 4-star James Graham, signed with Georgia Tech out of high school because they were the ones who gave him a chance to play quarterback. We ranked him as an athlete. Michigan really liked him as a defensive back. When the coaching change happened at Georgia Tech, he was an option quarterback. He decides to transfer to Georgia Southern because ideally he would play quarterback. They moved him to receiver.
Yeah.
He had no stats in 2020, and now he's back looking for school number 3.
Is there an option team left out there in Power 5?
In the service academies, if
he's not going to the service academies, I can tell you that much. But he was great fit for what they did at Georgia Tech. And I don't know why. Maybe there's a refusal to play defense. But as you mentioned, there was a lot of interest in him as a defensive back because of his size and his speed. So I think he might be forced to play defensive back. He's got SEC, ACC level talent. I don't think he's going to land in the Power 5. I think he's going to stay in the Group of 5 area. And I don't really know many Group of 5 teams that are running option or building an offense around a player like him. So I think he's going to have to find a home where he's willing to play D-back, or they're actually going to play him at wide receiver.
Yeah, go play defensive back and make it to the NFL. You know what I mean? That's your shot.
Make money.
Exactly.
6'1" cornerbacks are rich. 6'1" wide receivers are a dime a dozen.
Right, exactly. So
what do I know?
hopefully he finds the place where I was wrong. He was on Georgia Tech's roster in 2020, which I didn't even realize, which is
He
crazy.
played 3 years there, and he
Yeah.
got some time at quarterback. He had some interesting rushing stats. His passing stats weren't great, but he got some time in the triple option and that. But I don't know.
No good. All right. Our portal alum of the week, none other than Oregon's Anthony Brown. This is a guy who has been in college football forever. He's a sixth-year senior, right?
Yes. I covered him in 2004 out of New Jersey.
Wait, 2004?
No, I'm just making a joke. I mean, he's been around for a very long time. I think he was with the Brian Cushing, Brian Toll classes back in the early 2000s. That's how long he's been around. I mean, this kid's been around he's got to be on year 7.
2016. So it'd be 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Sixth year. Wow. 5.5 3-star. Tore his ACL twice. Went to Oregon last year and was a total afterthought. And when Tyler Shug transferred, Oregon was mad. I mean, if you remember, it was a surprise. They were mad. But Brown comes out, holds off a talented trio of freshmen to win the job. And week 1 against Fresno State, he did not look great. Now week 2 against Ohio State looked amazing.
I had complete faith in him. I know you did not after the Fresno State game. And I had written something the week before that Anthony Brown's better than people think he is and all this other stuff. And then he came out and struggled against Fresno State, and he ended up winning it with his legs. So for him to have this performance against Ohio State where he was mistake-free, made every pass he needed to make, precise, accurate, and also extended the play and ran when he needed to, and pulled off that upset. It's about leadership. It's about experience. This is a kid who's overcome so many different things, 2 injuries. I believe they were ACLs to both knees, different knees. And there's a certain positive person up in Eugene who was very confident in this guy's ability. And that's the head coach. Mario Cristobal felt that this guy had something special, and he loved the leadership of Anthony Brown, and we saw it. I mean, sometimes you're not as talented as the opposing quarterback. CJ Stroud won the Elite 11, and it was a 4-star kid, but he was outplayed by Anthony Brown.
All right, so big win for the Ducks, big game for him. We'll be back next week with another edition of Transfer Thursday, hopefully with some more action, Mike. In the portal, we should be firing up. We got games 3 and 4 coming up.
I'm going to start, I'll just start making up rumors. Kids going to the portal.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Yep.